Your friend group sucks. Now, before you get offended, ask yourself one thing. Are you where you want to be in life? And if that answer is no, and you've repeatedly asked yourself this question on different occasions, and it's always the same answer being no, why is that? When you answer this question, I need you to reevaluate everything in your life. Not just yourself, but who you got around yourself. Who you got around you. Something that is very interesting to me is whenever they say you are the average of your friend group. So if you got all these goals and aspirations that you're crafting, that you're scheming on every night, you go to sleep thinking about that shit. There's some hunger and some passion about you, right? You got that fire in you. What happens to that fire when you go congregate amongst your peers? The peers that you choose. Does that fire dim? Does that light dim? What happens? If your friends ain't on shit, if they're not scheming to be on shit, what does that say about you? You shouldn't be an anomaly to your friend group. Everybody should be on the same path, of moving towards something bigger than what they see in the mirror. And if not that, they're actually trying to craft a plan. You know what I mean? And if you sense nobody in that friend group at all is going after something bigger than themselves, you can be that one friend. If you really have a forgiving heart, you can be that one friend that tries to interject any of the stupid shit that they say, or you can try to confront them saying, yo, what the hell are we doing? Really ask them, what the hell are we doing? It gets silent. They start making fun of you. They're not taking anything that you say seriously. But guess what? That's okay. That is more than okay. You know what you're going to do at this point? You got to let them go. You got to let them go. And because you have that passion, that fire in you initially, you're going to leave and something in that friend group is going to change. But you're not worried about it. You left. You're on to bigger and better things. It is okay to let people go. I promise you, it is more than okay. If it's for the benefit of yourself, to a certain extent, it is okay. I promise you. Sometimes you got to be selfish, and sometimes you can't care how it looks to other people that aren't on your program. You gotta be a little selfish. The interesting thing about this, we always have loyalty to those that we love and care about. And I have no problem with that. I'm a very caring person and loyal person to those I deem fit, right? But when you figure out it's all games and nothing serious, you kind of ask yourself, what does that say about me? Am I just like that? If it's like one friend, okay. You know, that's just a very few out of the majority, right? But if it's everybody, you're not going hard enough, because that friend group would have been cleared up a little bit better. It would have been a lot cleaner. The filter would have been a lot stricter. Now, obviously, you're going to be friends with who you want to be friends with, but they at least need to align with what you're trying to do in this world, and they just can't be on some goofy shit 24/7. You got to want more for yourself, and to do that, you have to have a great supporting group. Despite what I might say sometimes and what I might believe, you can't do this shit alone. So when you're down bad and you look at your circle, what do you see? Are they pushing up with you? Or are they all messing around? Just not on shit. Be honest, and what do you see? Because you could be in the friend group where you're the one who's messing around. When you see that one friend working so hard and you come in here just jokes, nothing but jokes, you ain't thinking about anything, you're not taking anything seriously. Are you dimming their light? Please ask yourself that. The moment you ask yourself, that is a glimpse of self-awareness. So you are in a great spot. All you need to do is make a change. This isn't me saying you need to be serious 24/7. But if there's this certain life that you want, if you want an extravagant life, something has to change. You got to do extravagant things to live an extravagant life. So you can't do what everybody else does. You can't do what the majority of people do. You can't just be out here smoking and drinking. You can't just be out here just being goofy all the time. You got to be somebody who demands respect without actually saying it. And by that, you have to change your actions. You can't do shit the same anymore. You can't, all those old habits that make you who you are now, they have to change. You guys already know that repeated ass saying that shit don't change until shit changes. None of this shit is going to work for you until you are tired of it, until you loathe your life to the point where you want to change it drastically and for the better. Now, you can get overly critical about your friend group, which isn't something I suggest. It's just the general idea of what is the theme of my friend group. If you're somebody who wants a lot out of life, but your friend group is contradictory to what you want, you are not going to get close to that goal whatsoever. And if you do, that the antics from that group is going to ruin everything. Whether that be directly by messing up a money play you got, or you go into the antics and it just pushes you back further and further away from your goal. But I promise you it will mess you up at some point. And if you do decide, hey, you know what, after a lot of time and a lot of thinking, they're not good for me, you don't have to be rude about it. Just tell them that you're separating. You know what I mean? You just because you end a relationship doesn't mean it has to be bad blood between you guys. You guys just want different things and you guys are at different points. But overall, after you apologize or whatever you do to cut ties, just know you can't care how it looks after the fact. After you gotten your piece out, after you said what you needed to say, you didn't even have to explain anything in the first place. You can't care how it looks because you're onto bigger shit already. You don't have time to dwell on the past. Everybody needs to get their shit together. And I want you to think of something like, imagine you're trying to get your life together, right? You're trying to get your life together. You're trying to be on the path of greatness. And then you come back to a circle, or you come to a circle after all the hard work you just did. And it just disrupts all of that. It undoes it. It pretty much reverses all the work that you did to get to that point where it's like, you know what? Things are really starting to click now. I'm really starting to feel the momentum. If they're killing the momentum, you need to dead that friend group, bro. I promise you. It's not easy thinking this way because everybody takes it as, oh, you think you're so much better than somebody else. Number one, I do, but that's not the point. I want you to put yourself in the best position possible to succeed, not in a narcissistic way, but in a, I care about the quality of my life and where my life goes. People can change. You know what I mean? You confront this friend group about what it is. It's rare, but collectively they can be like, you know what? You're right, bro. We do need to get our shit together. We do need to lock in. But if they don't, it's okay. Leave them where they're at. We're not begging anybody to change because you know what you want. So obviously, if somebody isn't on your program, you know what you can do? You can leave. You can leave. That is always an option. You can run that shit up by yourself. You should never be an anomaly in a friend group, bro. You should never be an anomaly in your friend group because that means somebody else is on a different program. More than one person is on a different program than what you're on. And depending on what that is, I mean, you need context. There's nuance to these kinds of situations. Ask yourself, what kind of shit are you trying to get into? And then what is the majority trying to get into? don't dodge any accountability either, because you could be the one that needs to change and get better and get on your shit. It's so interesting how this shit works. I'm making another video talking about my negative traits and what plays a part in this, because there is accountability. I promise you there is. I think about this so much. If you think about it too long, it does get to a point where you don't think anything is good enough for you. But just the general idea is you are the average of your friend group. So if you take a look at your friend group right now, are you satisfied? Are you happy with it? That's all that matters, okay? And then after you ask that question, ask yourself, where do you want to be in life? And is this friend group helping you in any way to get to that point? And if it seems like they're pushing you further away from what you think you want, it's time to have a difficult conversation with yourself. I had jolly good friends, you know what I mean? I've had a lot of friends pass away. They'd always be jolly, they'd always be the optimistic ones for me. It'd feel like a breath of fresh air whenever I talked to them. But we were always on some shit that was going to improve our life for the better. So it would be goofy, but I always feel like we're moving in the right direction. That's different, where it just feels like it's just goofing off 24/7. I don't like that. I try to hold myself to a higher standard. So I hold the people around me that I love and care for to a higher standard as well. And if you're not doing that, then you don't care enough. I'm telling you, you gotta tighten. You tighten yourself up by tightening up the circle that you associate with. I'm telling you, look at the friend group, evaluate what you got going on, and evaluate what they got going on. Does it align with anything that you're doing? Is it pushing you forward? Is it pushing you back? I don't want to get too redundant, but if you made it this far, I appreciate you. You know I do. If nobody's told you today, I'm glad you're here. You have a great day, night, whenever you see this. We're coming from the top. You have a good night.